Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Mom Mode. Today, we have Jess Clarke Higgins on the podcast, and I am so excited to have you here, Jess. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for inviting me. I really do love doing podcasts. I don't do many of them, but they're always really fun.
Yeah, no, I'm just super excited to talk all things mom. And for those who don't know you, can you just share a little bit about yourself before we dive into the conversation?
Yeah, so I'm Jess Clarke Higgins. I am a wife. I'm married to Ben Higgins. I am an esthetician. I own a skincare company called Higgy Skin, and we offer medical grade services. We started as an acne clinic and then have expanded as our clients have gotten clear. We do in person and virtual treatments. I'm a mom. My daughter's name is Winona. We call her Winnie. She is 6.5 months old. She was born February 12th. And we're just so smitten by her. But aside from that, I live in Denver, Colorado, kind of in the foothills of the mountains. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. And yeah, we're just hanging on by a thread some days.
Aren't we all? I still feel that way
Yeah.
sometimes. I feel like that's the
Yes.
perfect way. That's like the perfect like Instagram, like in someone's bio, like hanging on by a thread some days.
Yes. And
Um,
I think that anyone would relate to that, to be honest.
no, honestly, like whether you're a mom, whether you're not a mom, anyone can relate to that. But yeah, I'm just so excited to have you on. And Winnie, I love that her name's Winona. And I think I read
Thank
did
you.
you post that like it was the name of like a lake that you used to
Yes.
go to or something like that?
Ben grew up on Lake Winona.
Okay.
And we had like the hardest time coming up with a girl name. We have the longest list of boy names that we love. And so, of course, we ended up having a girl and we couldn't land on a name. And then we were going to travel to Winona Lake. And we were like, oh my gosh, Winona, that's such a great name. And we
So
actually had Winnie
precious.
the Pooh quotes read at our wedding. And we were like, we can call her Winnie. And it just like all fell into place.
Oh my gosh, that is so cute.
Yeah, it was just as
And I love her
perfect.
nickname Winnie. I just think it's so
Yes.
cute. Oh my
No, and
gosh.
she's such a Winnie, like, she has such a personality that you're like, "Oh, no, you're nothing else but a Winnie."
Oh, does she watch have you had her watch, like, any Winnie the Pooh yet or, like, read her Winnie the Pooh
Not
books?
yet. We're doing books. She has a pop-up
Okay.
peekaboo Winnie the Pooh book that she's obsessed with. I can't wait to show her Winnie the Pooh, though, one day, and, like, I I when I watch TikToks and I see kids, like, meeting Disney characters, I always think about her meeting Winnie the Pooh, and it, like, makes me tear up because I think it's gonna be such a special day.
Yeah. No, it's so well, and, like, I don't know, it could just be this whole, like, theme of her life, like, being Winnie the Pooh for
Oh,
Halloween, and
I
that's so
know.
sweet.
No, it's
I
so
love Winnie the
fun.
Pooh.
Me
Yeah,
too.
that
He's
is
so
really
cute.
fun. Um, well, let's dive into this conversation of motherhood and
Yeah.
hanging on by a thread some days, but also being amazing on others. Um,
Yes, absolutely.
so after you and Ben got married, what, did you know that you wanted kids? Did you want to wait a little bit and kind of like, have time for yourselves before you started trying? What was that journey like for you?
So funny because, when you think about marrying someone, you kind of get on the same page about a lot of things. And like kids are obviously one of those. And both of us were like, yeah, we definitely want to be parents one day, but like we don't really know when. And then when we got married, we had such a fun life, just the two of us. Like both of us are entrepreneurs and we're like really enjoying our businesses. We loved to travel. We just had this amazing life. And we were like, I don't know if we really need kids. And then something shifted. We went to Italy with our parents, 2 Septembers ago, and after that trip, we were like, "We really, like, wanna have a baby," and it might have been, like, being with our parents and seeing, like, this is so fun to, like, as a kid, you can spoil your parents, but then we just have such a great relationship with them, and we were like, "One day we wanna have that for ourselves."
Hmm.
So, we decided that we wanted to have a baby, and it kind of snuck up on both of us, but we went ahead and started to try then.
Wow. That's so cool. So, I mean, it's kind of perfect because I feel like, at least you guys were in agreement, with not
Mhm.
no, not sure if you're having kids and then wanting to have kids. Because
Yes.
obviously that could be a difficult conversation if one feels one way and, the other feels the other. Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, I think that's such a good way to look at it is like, in 20 years, like, do you want to be by yourself still traveling or like, do you want to show your children the world and just have them at your dinner table with you and just all those, you just see so many quotes of moms talking about like, it's not right now. It's like, what do you want 10 years from now? Who do you want surrounding you at
Yes.
your table? And I feel like that just definitely shifts the perspective a little bit.
100%. Yeah. And that was kind of what we came to. And now that we have Winnie, we're like, why did we wait so long? This is the best thing ever. We want 100.
Yeah, I would agree. But it's so nice that you guys had that time to travel and
Hmm.
just like for yourselves. Like that's a really special time in
Yes.
life that like once you do have a baby, you're like, okay, we don't have you never truly have that again. Even if you have your
Yes.
alone time, you never truly have that to where it's like you're in this moment together and you're not worried about anything else. Cause now when we
Totally.
travel and we don't have like Sailor with us, we're like, what's Sailor doing? We're like,
Yeah.
you're just always thinking about them.
Yes. Yeah. They take up a lot of brain space in the best way.
Oh yeah, definitely. um, so when you started trying, what
Hmm.
was your journey like? Did it happen pretty quickly? Did you have any,
Hmm.
issues getting pregnant?
So I dealt with eating disorders for the majority of my adolescent life. I ran track and cross country in college, and that's kind of where it all like came to a head. And I was so small. I totally lost my period for like 5 or 6 years. And I was in a really awful place with my body. I've had every type of eating disorder you can imagine, from restriction to binging to all of it. And I luckily found an OBGYN in Denver who is so amazing, and when I knew I wanted to have a baby and I told her, I'm like, "What do I need to do for my body? Because I have mistreated this body. I have used and abused it, and I am really scared that I'm not gonna be able to get pregnant." Like, it was something that was always in the back of my head. Even when I was, like, in the throes of my eating disorder, I was like, "I'm doing this to my body, and, like, I'm probably not gonna carry a baby," and I like, kind of just made peace with that of, like, maybe I'll get a surrogate, maybe I'll find a husband that wants to adopt, like, I'm just not gonna be able to carry a baby.
Mhm.
And so Ben and I started trying, and I, like, never ovulated. I was tracking everything, I wore, like, the ring, I peed on the strips, and I just never ovulated, and I'm like, all my worst fears are coming true. Like, I literally knew this was gonna happen. And so I was working really closely with my OB, and I messaged her pretty frequently, and I was like, "Can is it too early for me to be referred to a fertility clinic? Because I just think that we're gonna need help, and I just wanna know what my options are. Like, I wanna know if my lining's too thin, if, like, I can't again, like, can I carry a baby? Is IVF an
Mhm.
option?" Whatever it may be. So, my OB referred us to a fertility clinic after about 6 months of trying, which is so early, and I know that.
Yeah.
I'd been talking to her since I moved to Denver for, like, 5 years of, like, I'm not gonna be able to have it and helpful. Um, so we went to the fertility clinic, we got all of our testing done, and everything looked great. Like, my lining looked great, my follicles, my egg count, which was a huge relief. But the doctor was like, "You're definitely not ovulating. Like, your body's just not doing it." So she said that IUI was the best option for us to try, and she mapped out a plan where we'd get 6 IUI tries and then move on to IVF. But she felt pretty confident that I could carry a baby, which was like the craziest, coolest day of my life when I heard that.
Yeah.
So we went ahead with the IUI process. And for the first try, we were like, okay, this is just going to be like a practice try. I took all the medicine, I did all the shots. We got pregnant on the first one, which is like, our
Oh
doctor
my
was like, this never
gosh.
happens. But I really do think that we were just, like, going into it with this mindset of, like, "Okay, this is our practice, like, let's, like, get our feet under us, we're gonna do this 5 more times, maybe, and then
Mhm.
IVF." But it worked, and that was Winnie. So, we got
Wow.
so lucky, and we had doctors that, like, really helped us and worked with us too.
Yeah. So for IUI, what like I guess what is IUI? Because IVF
Yeah.
is you're take yeah, can you explain IUI actually?
Yes. So for about a month before I took a medication, I was on letrozole. There's a couple of different ones that you can take, and it helps for your body to prepare to ovulate. And then you give yourself a trigger shot that's going to release your egg. And then you can either go in and they can insert sperm directly, or you can do timed intercourse at home, which is what we chose to
Okay.
do. Again, like, for our first try, we're like, "Let's just, like, make it easy and casual." So we did
Yeah.
timed intercourse at our house. And then after you get a positive pregnancy test 2 weeks later, you go in, like, twice a week for all of your hormone tests, and you're on progesterone intravaginally for 12 weeks of pregnancy.
Okay.
So, that was what it was, and then with IVF, that's where they take your egg and your husband's or partner's sperm, and they mix it together and make your embryos.
Yeah.
So, we didn't actually ever make embryos.
Okay. So you just need
Yeah.
IUIs more when like they're making your body ovulate.
Yes, it's more like for people that just can't get the timing right,
Okay.
like, or either you don't ovulate or you can't figure out when you're ovulating, and it's kind of if you go to fertility clinic, unless there's a clear thing wrong with someone from what I understand, that'll be where people tend to start. We've had a couple other friends start with IUI too, and then lots of times you move on to IVF.
Okay. Thank you for explaining that. That's amazing
Yeah.
though. I
No,
mean
it's
I mean,
great.
yeah, it's kind of like it was meant to be.
Yes. And for fertility, like, for someone that had to go to a fertility clinic, we are on the simplest, easiest, like, best case scenario side of things, and I feel so lucky for that. And for anyone
Mhm.
who has a fertility journey, like, I just feel for you because the fear I lived in for so many years, like, I don't wish that on anybody, and any woman that wants to carry a baby, like, my heart goes out to you, my prayers go out to you, and I just, like, I can't it's a crazy situation to be in.
No, it definitely is. I feel like there's just so many women who are in that category
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
and I hate that and I just yeah, you just pray and you just do what you can for your body and
Mhm.
what made me ask you that obviously was I had saw like a post that you posted something like when he like healed you and like
Mhm.
made your body like your body image issues like basically like go away. So can we talk a little bit about that? So obviously like here you have this miracle you were able to have,
Mhm.
Winnie, first IUI. How are you
Yeah.
feeling now? Obviously we'll get into like life with Winnie, but like how are you
Yeah.
like with your body postpartum handling everything?
Yeah. So I always like to start because before I got pregnant and when I went to the fertility clinic, the first thing they tell you is like, you got to gain 10 pounds. So that was the first time that I was like, I really, really do. Like, I want this so badly. I want to be able to carry a baby. And like, I can see it in my grasp now. Like, they're telling me it's possible. So
Mhm.
I kind of stopped working out, started eating more. Um, and then when I got pregnant, I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, my body's doing something correctly, like, for once," like, I'm not having
Mhm.
these hormone issues or missed periods or whatever, so my whole pregnancy, I just, like, loved my body. I loved the way my body looked, I loved the way I felt, I mean, I was sick, but I was just obsessed with what was happening, like, seeing Winnie kick in my belly was the best thing, and then
Mhm.
after I had her and I was, like, looking at my daughter and my biggest prayer, and I still pray it, is I just want for her to grow up and love her body, like, I don't want her to go through, the mental turmoil that I went through that I know so many other women in our age group did growing up, like, I want her to grow
Mhm.
up and know that she's strong and she's wonderfully made, and I know a lot of that starts with the way that she sees, like, me talk about my body or, like, the way I treat my body in front of her.
Yeah.
So, it was like I was doing a quiet time one morning, and I had her laying on my chest, and I was like, "I don't want her to grow up watching me do, like, body checks in the mirror and, like, these eating teeny tiny portions and, like, her asking me to go to ice cream and me saying no." Like, w I want I just want her to see someone that's, like, totally free from all of that, and I desire to be free from all of that.
Mhm.
And So, like, I think having Winnie really did heal, like, my mindset, which is half the battle with something like that, of I wanna be free from this, and being free from it does require work. I've been in therapy, like, 3 or 4 times for it, I've been to recovery, I've done all of the things, but I felt like she put all of those puzzle pieces together,
Mhm.
and it's just not something that I think about. And, like, even with breastfeeding and all of the changes that are still happening, like, lots of days I don't recognize my body, but I'm so thankful for the body that I have, and, like, that's how I approach it because I just don't want her to ever observe something from me and her question herself because she's perfect. And
Yeah.
of course, I know that my mom always felt that way about me, and I don't remember ever watching my mom and thinking any of those things. A lot of my stuff came from doing sports, but I just
Mhm.
wanna do everything I can to teach Winnie to just love herself, and that again, I know it just starts with me, so, um, it's been something I've been practicing, and it's been really cool and fun, and freeing too.
Yeah. No, it definitely is, and yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, like, I was just so proud of I would agree, like, the woman's body is just so amazing.
Oh my
Like, it
gosh.
just as soon as you get pregnant, like, your body just knows what it's doing. Like,
Yeah.
it is wild. I don't even think I can really truly put into words, like, what I felt when after having my daughter, but I would agree with you, like, these days now, like, I obviously work out. I get up in the morning, I work out, like, 3 to 4 times a week, but I'm like, "I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to have
Mhm.
energy for my daughter. I'm going to prep my body to have the next baby." Um,
Yes.
and I'm mainly like, "Okay, I wanna" I have asthma, so I'm like, I go to control my asthma. I go to, help my heart get stronger. It's so different. It's no longer like I need to have like, be skinny. It's my
Mhm.
health and how I feel,
Yes.
um, which I think is important too. But yeah, that's really beautiful. Well, I appreciate
Mhm.
you sharing that.
Of
That's really
course.
special.
I think, like, as moms, we just like what you said, like, you have to reframe it. Like, it is it's so there's something so much bigger that you're taking care of yourself for, and it is
Hmm.
doing it in a healthy way and not an obsessive way, and, like, our kids do watch us, and they pick up on stuff, and it happens
Oh
really
yeah.
early, um, and I don't want her to ever ask me I don't want her to ever look at me and, like, wonder about how I feel about myself, you know?
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, and I do wonder, you just wonder like when do they start picking up on stuff? Because like my daughter, like and Winnie's 6 months, my daughter's going to be 2.
Mhm.
She'll like put her baby doll in the stroller and grab her blankie and put it on her and grab her bottle and then she'll check on her baby and I'm like, that they pick up on this from us doing that to them, and so you're like,
Yes.
"Okay, how early on were you like, did you start picking up on all this?"
Exactly.
Because she treats her baby doll like how my routine with her, so it's wild, and you're gonna get to experience that with Winnie. It
Mhm.
is so precious.
Ugh, I
Um,
can't wait.
yeah, it's only gonna get more fun. Um,
That's what everyone says, and I remember not believing moms because I actually loved the newborn stage, which I know is
yeah,
kinda rare, and I remember moms being like, "Just wait, it gets better." But now I'm that person when someone has a baby, I'm like, "Just wait, like, it gets better," and
I
it really does.
know.
Every day is so much more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and when she starts walking and when she starts talking, like, it's
Yeah.
just I don't know, and then you look my husband and I often find ourselves looking back at, like, her newborn photos, and we're like, "What happened to our baby?" Like, she's
Yeah.
still there, but, like so, newborn phase, you loved it, let's talk about it.
Loved it. Yeah.
Um, what was that how was it like bringing her home and, not probably not sleeping because obviously babies do not sleep through the night for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Um and then you said breastfeeding. So
Mhm.
how was it for you?
So we have what everyone calls a unicorn baby, where she is seriously the most laid back, chill girl, like has been she came out and they laid her on my belly, and she just, like, stopped crying, put her head in her hands, and looked at me like this. And I was like, "Okay, we're ready to go."
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
no, she's just spectacular, and I know she's like a once in a lifetime type of gal. So, when we came home from the hospital, she slept when she was supposed to, she ate when she was supposed to. She I feel like those, like, newborn trenches of the first couple weeks where you're getting up to feed are such a blur for me.
Mhm.
And what I did was I made the middle of the night feedings, like, really special. So, I would I switched it up. I fed 3 times in the middle of the night. So, the first feeding, I would put on Friends, and I'd watch Friends while I fed her. The second feeding, we'd play worship music, and we'd, like, worship together. And then the third feeding, I would play a podcast or sometimes nothing and just, like, talk to her. And
Yeah.
so those, like, moments were so
Wait, I love
special.
that for a
Yeah.
second. Love that. Like, moms listening, I'm gonna take this next time. Love that. That is amazing.
Yes.
Did you just, like, come up with that, or did someone tell you to do that?
No, I came up with it because I was like, it's like an hour-long process.
Yeah.
How can you make it something you look forward to, or at least don't, like, absolutely dread?
Yeah.
Um,
So it
and
made you, like,
so
look
it just
forward to it.
happened.
You're like, "Okay, this is the routine.
Yeah.
Friends, worship music." I love that.
Yeah, and
That is
so, like, when
awesome.
she would wake me up because we would go to bed, I'd feed her at 7, and I'd go to bed after that, and then she'd wake me up at, like, 11, and at 11 o'clock, I'm like, "Oh, baby, we get to watch 2 episodes of Friends. I can't wait." And then the next one, it's like, "What worship song are we gonna play, little baby?"
Oh.
And yeah, those moments were so special. Um, but I do think you have to find those, like, little ways to make them special too.
Yep, I would
Um
agree.
so, yeah, the newborn was great. I had an oversupply of milk, so I got a lactation consultant to help because that's really uncomfortable. It's such a
Mhm.
blessing, but it is, like, so uncomfortable. So she helped me regulate it. And I'm still breastfeeding where she'll be 7 months on Saturday, which is crazy. So, every month I do a little check-in of how I'm feeling about breastfeeding, how she's doing. So we'll have that little check-in at 7 months and kinda see what we're gonna do, but it's been great. She latches great. I still have a good supply, and it's a full-time job. It's exhausting, and
It
it
is.
sucks everything out of you, but it's also, again, like, very special.
Oh, I would agree. Are you kind of doing a mix? Are you just exclusively breastfeeding, or are you pumping at all?
I'm pumping. So, because I'm back at work, I'll pump when I'm at work, and then I
Mhm.
pump a bottle at night for Ben to give her because we realized, like, she was getting so connected to me because of the feeding. And when he started giving
Mhm.
her a bottle, she, like, kinda looked at him differently. Like, she was like, "Oh, I didn't know you could give me food." And so now they have, like, a very special connection with their little nighttime bottle, and it's really special.
That's so sweet. Yeah, I mean, I yeah, I did breastfeeding till 9 months. But
Okay.
I'm definitely I've heard a few moms talk about lactation consultants, and I'm very interested in getting one the next time because I just had to work very hard at my supply.
Mhm.
And then I don't know why it just, like, started dropping off, and I was the one that like, I would breastfeed and then I would pump right after to, like,
Mhm.
call for more milk.
Yep.
I was trying to eat, all the different foods that you, like, Google, and they tell you to
Oh,
eat to
yeah.
help. But yeah, I remember yeah, one thing I do remember, I was pumping at, like, between 3 and 4 AM, and I would get, like, the biggest pump, like 8, 9
Mhm.
ounces, and, like, I had to, like, that's the only time of day that I felt, like, super engorged, and I
Yeah.
would just yeah, I would sit there and I didn't watch an episode, but I probably will do that next time. I would just, like, scroll on my phone while I pumped. But yeah, that was always, like, the bottle, that I would
Yes.
save. That was, like, my saving bottle, like, the freezer stash was that 3 AM bottle.
And I still do that because I don't think I'll make it to a year breastfeeding. My emotions are really attached to my milk supply, and
And
it's
that's
just, like,
totally
really
fine.
oh my gosh, it's so exhausting and draining. So I'm stashing up my freezer so that I can keep giving her breast milk as long as possible, and I still
Yep.
will wake up around 4 and pump just to get that because that pump is like magic.
Yeah, no, it really is. Like one night I was like so tired I didn't do it, and then I'm like, oh, like
I
it just
know.
goes away. It's like it like just goes into the next day, so you like literally miss out on that. Like
Yes,
wait,
I know.
um,
And it's
it was
gold.
so
It
funny.
is.
Yeah, um, yeah, and you know what do they say? Fed is best. A fed
Yeah.
baby is, and yeah, so you go for as long as you can. I remember, gosh, I started like supplementing obviously at 9 months. And I was like,
Mhm.
hey, if I can give her one milk, one breast milk bottle a day, awesome, for just like
Yeah.
their immunity and that she liked it. And I was so scared to give my daughter formula. And
Yeah.
I mean, I was literally treating it like it was like a disease. I was like, "Oh, I'm so scared." I remember texting my husband like, "Okay, I'm about to give her first formula bottle." She loved
Yeah.
it. I was like, "Are you
See,
kidding me?" I was
and
like,
I don't know why we have that because 'cause I'm the same way, I'm so scared to do it. Like, I'm so scared.
we and now I will say like obviously sometimes moms talk about how they have to try different ones.
Mhm.
We used Kendamil. Um, that's just what we liked. And then we actually tried Bobby. Bobby, it made her a little gassy. She didn't love it, but Kendamil, she just like she chugged it like it was my breast milk. And I was like,
So cute.
I was so scared. And she's drinking this. She might even like this more than my breast milk. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And so when that time does come, and then they get to what, a year old, and you're like, they're on regular milk, and you're like, oh,
Yes.
wow. I stressed out. I pumped, you're like all for it's not nothing.
Yeah.
It's
All for her to drink
important.
whole milk.
Yeah, all for her to eventually drink whole milk, eat cereal, and all the other
Yeah.
stuff. Um, but yeah, I mean, so when that time does come, if you ever have to supplement, she's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Because yeah, my daughter was you know, whatever. But I was like, as a mom, I was proud to give her my milk. It was just like it
Mhm.
was like an ego thing, kind of like,
Yes.
hey, this is healthy. This is coming from me. I worked hard for this.
Yes.
Um,
I lost, like, 2 months worth of my freezer stash because our freezer broke, and I have it split up into 2 different freezers. But I was trying to explain what it felt like to lose that stash to my husband, and I was like, "Imagine you've been working on a project at work for 2 months, every single day, for 5 hours a day, and you've been working on it, and it's on your computer, and you're so proud of it, and it's, like, the way that you're gonna retire from, like, all of this work you've been done, like, you just have to finish this project, and
yeah,
then your computer crashes, and you lose all of that work that you've been doing for 5 hours a day for 2 months, like, that's how it feels, like, you can't get it back, like, it's just gone, like,
yeah,
it's the crazy it was the like, worst feel I can't even describe it, but yeah, I that was the best analogy I could come up with was, like, this project you've been working on that, like, this is your retirement plan, like, this is the way I'm gonna stop doing this work, is
yeah.
through this, and then it's
No,
gone.
I totally feel that. Yeah, because I mean, you even just heard my sigh. I'm like, no. I mean, you could
I
still. Can
know.
you put it in her? Can you put it in her bath with her?
Yeah, I could have put it in her bath, but I was, like, so emotional over it that I just told my husband, like, "Just toss it." It had been warm for, like,
Yeah.
3 days, and I was like, "I can't even
Yeah.
look
You
at
just don't
it."
know. I
Yeah.
get that. I actually have some this is so stupid. I need to throw it away. We have, like, this big
No.
freezer in our basement, and the other day I went down there and I'm like, "Oh my god, there's still, like, 7 like, milk bottles, like, in the pouches."
Yeah.
I'm like, "I can't believe I didn't ever give that to her." Like, what was I thinking? Like, I was so mad at myself. But
No.
I don't know, I just forgot it was down there. Mom brain.
I know. Well, and
Um,
those little bags are everywhere, so
yeah.
I can understand how that would happen.
Do you think, so having the lactation consultant, was that super helpful?
So helpful because if, like, I knew I had an oversupply, like, I mean, my boobs were ginormous. Like, it looked nuts, and I was
Mhm.
so uncomfortable, and I had no idea what to do, and, like, Ben didn't know what to do, and if I Googled it, it's like, "This is a great problem to have," and I'm like, "Okay, well, like, it hurts, like, what do you
Yeah.
mean?" And it was nice to have someone that I could, like, text because there's, like, a really fine balance, especially with an oversupply where, like, you don't wanna overregulate and then, like, underproduce, which we did that, and so then she helped me get it back up. but she did it, like she helped me to just stay comfortable with everything. So even when I, like, underproduced, she's like, "Okay, now we have to be really careful that we don't get engorged again." So she, like, walked me through all of it. So it was so helpful.
That's super helpful. I've heard of a couple other moms doing that, and I'm like, I didn't even know you could look into that. And I think some of them you can get covered by insurance too.
My
Maybe not
insurance
all, but I
covered
think some.
mine.
Yeah. So that's definitely something I feel like all moms that are interested in breastfeeding should look into. Because I feel
Well,
like they could be
yes.
just, like even if you think you have a rhythm, they might even be able to make
Mhm.
it easier on you. Um,
Yes. Yes, and every
yeah,
baby's different too, so I'll do it for all of my babies, like, just in case.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I texted her or I got in with her, like, a month before Winnie arrived, so she texted me on Winnie's due date and was like, "Do we have a baby?" And then she came over to my house 3 days later and was just so helpful, like, even with knowing what to do with colostrum, like, all of it, it was wonderful.
yeah. It's so weird. I like don't remember having colostrum, but maybe once again, that was just like, there's so much going on
It was
that
in the
I like
hospital
don't even
blackout.
remember. Yeah. Literally, like there's for sure a hospital blackout that
Yeah.
happens. How was your birth? Um,
So we decided to do an induction
okay.
because we live like 45 minutes from the hospital I was giving birth at, but that's where my OB practices out of. And I love the group that I'm a part of. And so I really wanted to give birth there. And because it was our first baby, they were like, just because you don't really know what labor is like and traffic's crazy in Denver, let's schedule an induction and like that'll be that. So we scheduled one for at 40 weeks. So I was full term. She was due the 12th and my induction was scheduled for the 10th. And I ended up laboring for 36 hours, which isn't uncommon with an induction. And I knew it would be a long labor because
Mhm.
like, I was not progressed when I went to the hospital, but I'm so glad that we did that because I ended up having back labor, so I never had a contraction in my stomach. So, like, everyone's saying that contractions felt like period cramps, mine was like getting electrocuted in your lower back,
Oh
and
my
I
I've
don't think
never
I would
heard
have
this.
known. Yeah, I don't think I would have known that it was labor. So, I'm so glad we did an induction because I really think I would have missed it. Like, it was
Oh my
incredibly
gosh.
painful, but I
Yeah.
just don't think I would have known, like, what it was.
Now, did they say that's like common? Like that can just happen with certain women?
It's really common with, like, very short women, which I'm very short, and I
Yeah.
actually was talking to a mom who's had 5 kids, and she only back labored with one of her kids, but she said it was, like, the worst labor because it's just, like, you can't even, like, breathe through it, like, it's so painful and weird.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I feel
but
like, I
yeah.
mean, I had a C-section,
Mhm.
and so I never really truly felt contractions. Um,
Yeah.
they were like, "Oh, you're having one." And I'm like, "I don't feel anything." Like, I don't think so.
No.
But I feel like if it's in your stomach, you can like hold your belly where like your back,
Mhm.
it's like, what the heck do you do?
Yeah,
Um,
I when I finally started to get contractions, I didn't wanna get an epidural till I needed one,
mhm.
and when I started to get contractions, it was like I didn't know what to do, but, like, I was just, like, crying, and I looked at the nurse, and she was like, "Do you want your epidural?" And I was like, "Yeah, like, we'll make this stop, like, this is
Yeah.
awful." But, yeah, it was really weird, and my mom never had it, so I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah, I wonder if it has anything to do with the way the baby is positioned. Or
I
like,
think that's a big part too, because she was super, like, back.
yeah.
I don't remember if that's I don't remember what the correct word
Or
is, but
like
she
where
was,
your
like, way back there.
placenta is, because like where your placenta can be in different areas too. So that's so
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
Well,
it was crazy.
at least you know what it's like, so you're not like in shock next time, or maybe next time you'll be like, "Oh
Exactly.
wow, these are better contractions because it's in
I
my
know.
stomach."
I know, my next labor could be like a breeze.
Yeah, you might
But
be
I
like,
actually loved labor too, even with all of
"Really?"
that, like, I
Yeah.
loved the whole thing. I thought it was I don't know, I think I was just so excited to be there and, like, couldn't wait to meet Winnie that it was I didn't mind any of it.
I
I
think
mean,
it's a
obviously it
really good
hurt, but
mindset to have, is like going into it very positive. I think that's the best thing moms can do, is like
yeah.
be calm, be excited, which I think like we're all a little, I mean, I feel like it's a mix of anxiety and adrenaline and excitement. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
I knew I was gonna be medicated, like, that was my so I
yeah,
think and I talked to enough friends that I was like, "I don't think this is gonna be, like, absolutely the worst thing that's ever happened to me." I don't know. So, I just went into it a little naively too, which I think was helpful. I didn't finish my labor class that I was supposed to do,
yeah.
and I'm actually glad I didn't, to be honest.
Yeah, I haven't watched anything about labor. I'm like, maybe I will once I'm
Mm-mm.
done having kids. Like, I don't sometimes it's
Right.
like what you don't know, you don't need to know.
Yeah.
Um, I had a C-section, but like and I don't know, I may have another one moving forward. I really don't know, but I'm like, I will not look anything up about a C-section until like
Mhm.
way after I'm done having kids.
For sure. No, there's no reason to because when you look stuff up on the internet, it only shows you worst case scenario. So, like,
Yeah.
why would you put yourself through that and then be like, is this happening to me? Is this happening to me? When if you're going to a doctor or if you have a doula or a midwife, like, they know if something's wrong. So just like, trust the professional.
No, for sure. How do you think your relationship with Ben has been since having Winnie? Like, I think you mentioned in another thing or that you've talked about a few times, like just how supportive of a spouse he's been with
Mhm.
having Winnie. Like, what like did you guys like have anything? Do you have like a routine or did you, just like as a couple, like take time to be like, this is how we want it to be when Winnie's here?
I mean, honestly, I just think I married a really good person. Like, he is just a good person and he loves me a lot and he loves our daughter a lot. And I I mean, that's not something you can like teach somebody or like talk about. Like that's just the way
Yeah.
that he innately is.
Yeah.
And he wants for like I want for him to love his life, he wants for me to love my life, and we both want for Winnie to love her life, and so, like, that's kind of how we approach, like, every day with whatever the other person needs, like, if Ben has a lot of meetings, then, like, I got Winnie that day. Right now, he's, like, downstairs playing with her, and, um, things have, like, obviously, like, shifted with, like, what the other person needs with, like, me going back to work, and he
Yeah.
does travel a lot for work, so when he's here, he's, like do what you gotta do, like, he's just, yeah, he's very supportive and very he loves Winnie, and, like, having your husband be a girl dad, as you know, is, like, the crazy coolest thing in the whole world. Like,
Yeah.
it's so cute. He just, like yeah, it's made him, like, softer in the best way, and, like,
Mhm.
he looks at me differently too. I am, like, a very laid back, passive person. I hate conflict. I told you before we started, I don't have strong opinions. Like I'm just it is what it is.
Mhm.
And he said that when I had Winnie, he like saw this like fierceness in me and I felt it too. And so I think there's also like a new level of respect there where he's like, "Oh, you know what you're doing." And like I like don't mess with Mama Jess, you know? And I
Yeah.
think it's just been cool for both of us to, like, me see that softness in him and he see that fierceness in me. I just think that we have a new level of, like, respect and love for one another.
I love that, and it's definitely really special to see, yeah, like, your husband be a girl dad. And I feel like, yeah, listening to you, like, my husband and I are kinda very similar, like, if he has a long day, I'm like, "Go golf, go do your thing, I got Sailor."
Mhm.
Or, like, some days, like,
Yes.
it's just been what did you say? Hanging on by a thread day? When he sees that I'm hanging
Yeah.
on by a thread day, he's like, "I got Sailor, just go breathe." Like,
Yes.
it's just like an ebb and flow, and, like, yeah, like, when I feel like you just have a really
Mhm.
solid marriage and foundation, like, you don't even need to talk, you just understand each other. Like, you could just see the
Mhm.
person's face and be like, "That's the day they had," or, "I needed, pick it up this day."
Yeah.
But I
And
love
I
that.
think one of the other things with that is, like, never keep score. Like, just because your husband has golfed 3 days this week doesn't mean that suddenly you're like, "Well, now I need to go do X, Y, and Z for 3 days," and, like, leave you hanging. Like, it's all gonna come out even.
I
Like, let
love
the other
that.
person have what they need. Like,
That's
I've gotten
so
2
true.
massages this month, and Ben's not like, "Well, now I need 2 massages," you know? It just, like,
Yeah.
it is what it is. So, I think that that's really important, and I know, like, as a mom, you get exhausted, and sometimes you can be a little snippy. I That's like, your words are things you can't take back, and even though you think you can, like, you can't, and so I think that's really important to not keep score with that stuff too. Like, just be aware of what your partner needs and, like, be there for them no matter what they've done for you, and I think that helps a lot too.
Yeah. No, I think that's such good points and just really special to not keep score. I would agree. I'm kind of guilty of that. Sometimes I'll be that way. So I needed to hear that one.
We all do it, and, like, he's been gone for 6 hours golfing. Okay, well, I'm gonna go away for 6 hours, but, like,
Yeah.
there's also you can do that all day long, or you can say, "Oh my gosh, you're back, like, let's all be together as a family," and, like,
Yeah.
I think that's really special too.
No, I would agree. That's a really good perspective on that. Um, as far as like you going back to work, so like Higgy Skin, how long ago did you open Higgy Skin?
So I opened in May of 2021 and it was called Just Skin Din, but it was such a tongue twister. So we rebranded last year. And now we're Higgy Skin. So I still say we started in 2021, but it's just a
Yeah.
different name.
No, I love it. I love Higgy Skin. I just think it's
Thanks.
catchy.
Thank you.
Um,
Yeah, it's easier.
yeah. And that's congratulations, like on owning a business. Like that's amazing. So you said
Thank
you're kind
you.
of like an entrepreneur. So did you know that you always wanted to like own your own business?
No, it was never in the cards for me. I went to school and I got a business degree with a minor in communications. I wanted to do sales. I really wanted to do medical sales. So I started school pre-med and I also ran track and cross country in college. And between like the pre-med, the track and cross country, and the eating disorder, I like had a day where I woke up and I was like, I have to stop all of this. So I literally dropped out of the pre-med program. I quit track and I was gonna just, like, drop out of school. I had, like, this whole plan to become a flight attendant, but my parents didn't go for that. So I went back to school and just, like, totally changed everything I did. But I knew I was really interested in the medical side of things, and so I was like, "Well, medical device sales would be great because I would still be in, like, a hospital setting." You learn, like, your one device really well, and sometimes you can go in on surgeries, and that just sounded really cool to me. So I
Uh-huh.
did, like, a lot of shadowing and ride-alongs and all of that stuff, and every single person was like, "You have to have sales experience to, like, get into this." So when I graduated college, I got a sales job, just the first one I could get, and sales just did not agree with me. I'm not a salesy person. If you don't need it, I'm not gonna tell you to buy it, like, that's just not who I am, and so,
Uh-huh.
um, when COVID hit in 2020, I had been dealing with acne since I was, like, 16. I did Accutane, I did everything, and by the time I was dating Ben, I had, like, finally gotten my skin clear after doing all of that stuff, and I was seeing an esthetician, and, Ben was like, "You love going to your skin girl," is what he called her. "You love going to your skin girl, you talk about skin, like, why don't you do what she does?"
Mhm.
So, I talked to her, and she, like, told me more about it, and I went to esthetician school. Loved it, and because I went into it with a social media following, everyone I spoke to was like, "You should just start your own thing and see how it goes, rather than go work for someone else because you won't get paid as well, and they'll kinda use, like, your following and all of that." So, I
Yeah.
did we had no kids, we were newly married, we had a dual income, we were like, "Let's just see what happens." So I opened my clinic and, it took about 6 months for it to really take off, but after that, it's been great.
That's awesome. And
Yeah,
so
it's
it's
been fun.
located is it in Denver or where in Colorado?
So I have 2 locations now. I have one in Wash Park in Denver, and then I have one in a suburb called Lakewood that's a little bit closer to my house.
Oh, that's funny. We live in Lakewood, but Lakewood, Illinois.
Wait, that's so funny. I love
That
that.
that's so funny. Yeah, you're like, "It's in Lakewood." I'm like, "Oh, that's familiar."
Yeah, right
Um,
down the road.
yeah, that's so cool. So how like, what has that transition been like for you now being a mom and having Winnie? Like, do you visit both of the clinics or which one are you, like,
Mhm.
primarily at?
So I'm primarily at the Lakewood location because my old clinic was about a 45-minute drive. And with Winnie and breastfeeding and all of it, I just couldn't like stomach being in the car for an extra hour and a half. So I opened
Mhm,
the Lakewood location while I was on my maternity leave. That was what I did for 5 months. And it's 9 minutes from my house. It's so much better. So that's where I am. And I work there 2 days a week. And then on Wednesdays, I go down to my old location and we have like a team meeting, which has worked out really well because previously I would just be like in and out with clients. Like I never really was intentional with my team. So this just feels
mhm.
a lot better for like everybody now. It worked out better than I could have imagined.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you're able to, so are you does Winnie go with you, or do you just, like, kind of just have, like, someone watching Winnie and then you kind of get to do your thing?
Tuesdays and Thursdays, she's with dad. So Ben also works from home and he just blocks off from any like important meetings. But
Yeah,
again, she's a very chill gal. So she's good with the toy and you can, take a call or whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, for 4 hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays, she's got dad. And then I'll take her on Wednesdays with me to my team meeting.
Oh, that's fun. I'm
Yeah,
sure
it's
she
really
gets
fun.
lots of love and attention.
Oh, of course. And she loves it. She's an attention gal.
Yeah. Um, so with your skin, talking about Haggy Skin.
Hmm.
So I noticed that obviously talked a lot about skincare with like pregnancy safe products, melasma. Is there any like tips that we can share for moms around like, I mean, do you need to change your skincare of what you're using most of the time, like,
Hmm.
before pregnancy and then during pregnancy? Does it depend on what happens with your skin? Like, what is all that like? Because I didn't
Yeah.
change anything. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I just used my face wash and my moisturizer. I don't have, like, a crazy routine, um,
Which
but I
is
never
great.
thought to change anything.
Yeah. So I always tell moms, like, it just depends on your level of comfortability. Like, the problem with skincare and pregnancy is no one's going to test their skincare on a pregnant woman. But
Mhm,
if a pregnant woman has an issue with their baby, the first thing they're going to do is go to their skincare or what they ate or their supplements. So, lots of times, skincare companies, like, you can't claim really to be pregnancy safe unless you're completely plant based. Um,
mhm.
because you're trying to cover your tracks, basically, because nothing's been tested.
Yeah.
But the odds of skincare getting into your blood are, like, very, very slim. I would say I keep my body care super clean, so, like, all of my lotions, all of my fragrances, my deodorants, all of that, I really go through with, like, a fine-tooth comb and make sure it's very safe because that's what Winnie's touching a lot. With my
Mhm,
skincare, I took out retinols, vitamin A's, but again, there's no studies proving that, like, that's dangerous. That's just the one thing that every doctor tends to be like, maybe just skip it. It's 9 months of your life. So I skipped that. Most everything else is pregnancy safe as long as salicylic acid needs to be in a percentage of less than 2% and benzoyl peroxide less than 2.5%.
okay.
So, retinol, salicylic acid, and benzoyl peroxide are things to look out for. And there's alternatives to all of it that are, safer, cleaner. They might be less effective or you might get slower results, but you can still, use your skincare and use it without having to worry too.
Yeah.
Lots of times women get more acne when they're pregnant because your hormones all over the place. Lots of times women with acne, their acne clears up when they're pregnant. It just depends on
Mhm.
kind of where you're starting at baseline. But I always tell people acne is acne. We're going to heal it the same way. You're going to treat it topically the same way. we might not be able to tackle the root cause while you're pregnant as much because we're not going to be thinking about diet or supplements or hormones, but we can still treat it topically and get pretty great results even when you're pregnant.
That's awesome. Yeah, I just remember like my skin, I maybe it was melasma, but like even when I look back at like my photos when I gave birth, like there was just like more brown pigmentation, which I guess
Mhm.
is that considered melasma? Like how you get that
It's
kind of around
so
different areas?
hormonally yeah, it's very hormonally or onset through hormones. So, like, going on and off of birth control will do it, pregnancy, postpartum, breastfeeding, it'll tend to get darker in that way.
Yeah.
Um, and it is a really stubborn skin condition for a lot of people. For a lot of people, they have their baby and it goes away.
Mhm.
So you just don't know. For me, I had it before I was pregnant, so I knew it was gonna get bad when I got pregnant, and it didn't get a lot worse, but now that I've been able to treat it more in postpartum, I can see, like, a pretty big difference.
Yeah. Mine went away pretty quickly after, but, yeah, freckles. Do freckles start to get like, cause I feel like I have sometimes I'll get, like, little freckles, like, more in the summer, like, when the sun, darkens my skin a little,
Uh-huh.
and I did notice a lot of freckles, and then I got skin tags. Is that do you know if that's
That's
a thing?
also really common. Yes, skin tags in pregnancy are so common, and unfortunately, skin tags are, like, out of an esthetician's scope, so that's
Yeah,
something for a dermatologist to really
more
tackle, but
dermatology.
it is really interesting that that pops up because I noticed I got some, like, skin tags on my body, but a lot of
Yeah.
my clients get them on their face when they're pregnant too.
Yeah, I got one on, like, my armpit, on my my thigh. And I'm like and they haven't gone away. The one on my armpit, I
Yeah,
did go to a dermatologist and they just, like, cut it off because I'm like
yeah,
every time I go to shave my arm, I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna take this thing off, but so weird. That's definitely a major skin thing that I noticed was skin tags after, actually after giving birth. I didn't even
yeah,
notice it during, so maybe, like, a huge hormonal shift that occurs, I don't know.
yeah,
But
and,
yeah,
like, every month postpartum, your hormones change when you're breastfeeding, when you stop breastfeeding, like, there's just so much that your skin and your skincare is probably gonna change a lot between, like, the time you get pregnant and the time you're done breastfeeding, but you
yeah,
just kinda roll with the punches. I would say find an esthetician and work with them, like, through that period of time so you can adjust as things change, and, it's fun, like, if you like products, you get to mix it up, so that's always great.
yeah. No, your skin's always so, like, glowy and dewy. I'm like, I love it.
Thanks.
I'm lazy with it. I feel like I don't put in, like, the time. Like, I probably need to go to somebody because I'm like, I have no idea what I would, put on my
Yeah.
face.
My biggest tip, because most people cleanse and moisturize, where a lot of people skip is exfoliation, and that is the most important step, in my opinion. You have to find the exfoliation that works for you because you want to do it
Mhm.
every single day, but it can be like a toning pad, it can be a serum, it can be a lotion with exfoliation or a scrub, but that's the key. And I do exfoliate a lot. I've trained my skin to be able to just because I have to try all of the products of, like, what I'm gonna carry in my clinic,
Yeah.
but I that is the key to the glowing skin. You have to exfoliate, and, like, that's where someone can help you find the right, like, acid for you too, because you wanna make sure it's not gonna strip your skin. There's such a
Okay.
fine balance, but that's always where most people you're either over or under exfoliating.
I'm definitely under. So that's a good tip. Um, yeah, I feel like I definitely don't. I think I do have, like, a serum that is exfoliation. But I don't use it. I probably should start using it, so I will
Start
take
using it.
that
Use it
tip.
every day and see what happens.
Okay, I will do that. Yeah, because I, like, love it. I don't know, there's just something about dewy skin, that you're like, just looks so nice."
I did not always have dewy, glowing skin by any means, and so whenever someone says that, it's the biggest compliment now, but it's
Oh my
testament that
gosh.
you can work and get your skin to where you want it to be, because that's definitely what I did. I was unfortunately not born with the best skin, but it's gotten better.
Yeah, no, your skin looks amazing. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, whenever I see it, I'm like, gosh, like, when you're doing your routines that you post, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I wish my skin looked that smooth."
Oh, and I love my skincare routines too. They are, like, so my time. I did them every single day postpartum too. I told my husband, I was like, "I just need 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night." Like, this is I, like, zone out when I do it, and it just, like, totally relaxes me.
Yeah. Is that so that's something that you, like, really kept consistent after having Winnie was,
Yes.
like, your skincare, like, you had to have that time?
Yes, keep me human and, like, you don't when they're brand new, they're feeding every 3 hours no matter what, so, like, there's no daytime and
Yep.
there's no nighttime. So my, like, daytime skincare routine and my nighttime skincare routine helped for me to feel like a human that wasn't just, like, a troll living under a bridge where it was dark all the time, like, and I had her in February, so it was snowy outside. The week I had her
Yep.
was, like, in the negatives here, so I needed something to just, like, separate, so I would, like, do my skincare and change my sweats, and that was my daytime and my nighttime marker.
I love that. No, that I like see, you have some good tips here, like the friends watching with the feedings at night, doing your skincare. Honestly, I feel like everyone can take like benefit from like, if you're just at home and you're being lazy, like doing your skin. I always like to have like my hair, like having my hair nice too, like
Mhm.
washed. If I have no makeup on and I'm just in sweatpants, that's a game changer. It's like skincare, washing your face, brushing your teeth,
Yes.
and having your hair look somewhat nice. Like,
Yes.
I feel confident. I'm like, I feel
100%.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just it makes you feel like a person. For whatever
Yeah.
reason, it does.
No, I would agree. Um, so are there any other tips for new moms? Because obviously you're in
Mhm.
the 6 month. Is there any other tips you'd like to share with moms who are listening to the podcast?
I would say going off of the skincare thing, like, find something every day that you really look forward to and that is, like, just for you.
Hmm.
I skincare is an example. I go on a walk every single day. I love my walks, like, and those are things that are just for me. Like, Winnie might
Hmm.
come with me on my walk, but I'm doing it for myself. I'm not doing it for her. Um,
Hmm.
I just think that when you find something that fills you up, like, then you can give more to somebody else, and as a mom, you're giving a lot, and as long as you're full, you can give from a place of, like, not resentment, but joy. Um, so I would just encourage any mom to find something like that so that you can go into your day, like, really excited. And even spacing things out so that you can look forward to things, like, throughout the day. Um, I think that that's so important. And I just motherhood has been so much better and more fun than I thought it would be because I got really scared by, like, the internet and people saying, like, all these scary things about it, and that's gonna strip away your identity and all of this stuff, and I just have never felt more myself or more fulfilled, and so I would just encourage any mom to if you're going through something really hard, um, find things for yourself so that you can push through it because it can be really, really fun and exciting.
Yeah. No, I love that so much. And I think that's a really important message for moms to hear. And, yeah, like the internet's really like it can scare you into thinking that like motherhood steals your identity. Like I would agree with that. And
Mhm.
there's moments where I definitely have felt that.
Oh, yeah.
And then I come across, posts from moms. I don't know if you've ever seen a post like this. I think it's like a trend where it's like it's not my time to, like, sleep through the night right now, or it's not my time.
Mm,
Have you seen that? Have you seen these? I think it's like
no.
a trend. It's like, right now, I'm not in this time in my life where, like, I'm meant to sleep through the night. Right now, like, my morning routines, there's a lot going on. It's
Yeah,
not just myself and coffee and looking outside, like, they come first, they're fed, then you get
yeah.
your coffee, like and it's all these, like, moments that, like, basically are comparing, like, your independent life to now being a life, being a
Mhm.
parent. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh," that, like, sticks with me hard because you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, your life did shift, but you also knew that shift was gonna happen. And I think if you shift your perspective to thinking of it that way, like you said, like, yeah, you still do have to do things for yourself. It's not saying you don't, but fill
Mhm.
yourself up to then be able to give to them, you know? I mean,
Mhm.
I'm like, sometimes I'm in these moments and I'm like, I'm frustrated. I have a lot, your life just it goes, like it's
Yep.
nonstop sometimes. And I'll be like, no, like I don't need to be frustrated. We brought her into this world. And like,
Mhm.
I'm just gonna be patient with her, like I'll give you an example, like picking vegetables out of my garden. I can hurry up and pick them, or I can spend
Mhm.
40 minutes out there picking them with her, and she loves it, and it's like
Yep.
teaching her, she's feeling the textures, she's seeing the colors, and she's enjoying it, and so
Mhm.
I think it's so important to just also just slow down as a parent and,
Yeah.
like, let them be involved, in your life,
Mhm.
and you'll notice that with Winnie too, like, as she
Yeah.
starts, like, doing things with you, you're like sometimes you do have to, like, get it done in a certain time, you're like, "Okay, wait, we
Yeah.
actually do have to leave the house." But
Yeah.
other times, it's like, "I have nothing to do today.
Mhm.
Let's just do what we're gonna do, and it's gonna take forever, and that's okay."
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, slow down,
So
enjoy it.
yeah,
That's
because you
sweet.
know what? Before you know it, they're like 5, and I'm seeing, like, little kids walk to the bus, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's, like, 2, 3 years away from her." Like,
I
"What? I don't
know.
want her to go to school."
No, I
Like, I
know,
don't
it's
wanna
so
walk her to the bus
sweet.
stop or
No,
so yeah. Yeah,
I love
so
that.
that's not that you need to slow down, but I'm just saying, like, that's what's helped
No,
me.
I think that's such a good reminder for everybody. I think that's something I need to remind myself of a lot too, is just to slow down.
Yeah, there's just moments where I'm just like, yeah, like, "Okay, you wanna read books for 30 minutes? Let's read them." Like,
Mhm.
there's gonna be a day where you don't care to read and you're outside playing and you don't really care to talk to me. So let's read them
Yeah,
now.
exactly, exactly.
So, yeah.
Mm.
Well, thanks so much for coming on the podcast. I've
Of
loved what you've
course.
shared and just, like, your little tips, and I love it. Like, there's so many things that, like, I feel like I can even just, like, take as for advice, and I will definitely
Well,
be
thank you.
exfoliating.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for thinking of having me. I think what you're
Yeah.
doing is amazing. I think moms can learn a lot from other moms. That's how I've gotten literally any of my advice. So we love it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Well, thank you, and thanks for sharing, like I said.
Of course, anytime.